Joining us now is GMA legal analyst Dan Abrams, and in Atlanta, Nancy Grace, a host of Nancy Grace on HLN. Thank you both again for always being here for us. And Dan, let me start with you. The manner in which she was killed, what does that tell you?
Strangulation. Always the authorities are going to presume, at least at the outset, that that's a kind of personal way to kill someone. Immediately going to be looking at people that she knew. Also, the fact that it appears that the body was moved, meaning the authorities don't think that she was actually killed in the car, but her body then moved to the car in effectively staging the crime scene. That's another really important detail here as the authorities move forward.
And Nancy, as is the norm in a case like this, investigators first look to the husband, and if you talk to family, if you talk to friends, they said there was just not this man, not this guy. And the motive, people are just baffled to see what a possible motive could be.
Well, you're right about that regarding motive, Robin, because in this case we have no forced entry into the car, we have no sex attack, we have no robbery. She's found in the back seat of her 2004 Mercedes, not leased. They were a very rich couple, and he is very gregarious, very friendly. He is known as Big Bob, the mayor of Middlesex, which is the street where they live, the area where they live. And what's going to be interesting is that someone staged this, as Dan accurately pointed out, which means it is not random. A random killing, boom, you're dead. They leave your body there. Here they went to great lengths to hide her body in a bad area. I assume you all saw 8 Mile with Eminem. Well, this is 7 Mile, which is assumed to be a bad area of town. So they take her 2004 Mercedes, park it in an alley. I'm just wondering if there's any surveillance at all as to who went to such great lengths to leave her body there. Purse and cell phone still there. She's clothed. As Dan pointed out, ligature or manual, most likely manual strangulation, with her back covered in injuries. Many people believe that she was actually kidnapped from the home, which narrows the range of suspects.
And that's why the cadaver dogs become important. That's why the computer search becomes important. Remember, cadaver dogs, she was in that house, right? They're going to bring dogs to the house where they lived. And the dogs, it's clear she once lived there. But if you find the scent of a dead body, then you've got a very different situation. Also, the searches of his computer. It seems that they were looking at his hard drives.
It mildly, Dan.
Yeah,
a different situation, I guess so.
that a search of the hard drives, that becomes really, really important in the context of this investigation.
Grosse Pointe police have called him a person of interest, but Detroit police say suspect. Is there any real difference there?
There's no real difference. The bottom line is the only difference is that if you call someone a person of interest as opposed to a suspect, maybe they'll more likely cooperate with the investigation. But as a practical, legal matter, there is no difference.
What's that, Nancy?
One of the cops slipped and said he's a suspect, and then later they came out and went, oh, no, it's not. Why? Because once you're a target, once you're a suspect under our constitution, constitutional privileges and rights then attach that don't attach if you're not a suspect.
It's not actually true. The bottom line is that the only difference would be with regard to a Miranda warning. And when it comes to a Miranda warning, it's about whether the person's in custody. So whether you call them a person of interest,
if you're a suspect, you got to have your lawyer with you if you've got a lawyer, and that's another interesting point.
No, actually,
and I'm not crucifying this guy. He was in the middle of talking to cops, and somewhere in the middle of talking to the cops, he decided he needed a lawyer, and a lawyer showed up.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, whether he chooses to have a lawyer or not have a lawyer, it doesn't change.
I'm all for lawyers.
Right. It doesn't change the fact that that whether you call him a person of interest or a suspect doesn't change his fundamental constitutional.
Really? Then why did the cops retract it, Dan?
I'll tell you why.
It doesn't mean anything.
Do you want to know why?
Right.
I'll tell you why.
Constitutional rights attached.
No, that's actually not true. There are 2 reasons. Number 1, it's a matter of PR, meaning the authorities don't want to be caught in a situation where they're calling someone something that it turns out the person isn't. And the second thing is that they're hoping that by calling someone a person of interest, which is a relatively new phrase these days, that they're hoping that the person will cooperate more with the authorities by saying, you're not a suspect. You're not a suspect. You're just a person of interest in the context of this investigation.
There's another practical reason, Dan,
as a legal matter,
that any trial lawyer would know.
No, it makes absolutely no difference, Nancy. None.
Any trial lawyer would know that A problem with calling someone a suspect is that when the real killer is caught, then you got to explain to a jury, well, yeah, I thought this guy did it, but we were wrong. Now we're sure this guy did it. That doesn't go down very well with the jury. And I'm telling you that it hurts to name somebody a suspect and retract it. Rights do attach.
Well, Nancy, Dan, thank you very much for getting that difference and trying to understand a little bit better for our audience. We appreciate that.